Hello and welcome to the St Kilda and Bayside Report. It is December 2022. I'm Gary Peer.
I'm Jeremy Rosens. I think you're pausing because who would have thought that it was December already? I mean, this year's flying.
The year. I mean, I knew the month, but the years are running just about faster than the month, Jeremy.
That's what happens at your age, Gary. They go very quickly.
They do go quickly,
and the memory disappears quicker than the years are coming.
The memory of what?
Yeah, there you go.
It's happening. It has been a interesting year. It's been a year that we'll remember. Just reviewing the year back a bit, it's a year that we'll remember when prices actually did come back, and there's not many years we can say that. So I know that vendors, of course, who always would like an increase and more, and buyers that would always like to buy for less and a decrease. Well, I think the buyers got the better deal this year as things came off the boil a little, Jeremy.
Well, I don't know whether they got the better deal, Gary, because money's become difficult to get. So
That's true.
I think people are still spending to their capacity.
Yeah.
The numbers have changed.
Well, that's true. I guess if the price came down $100,000, if you're a buyer, you could say, well, the price might have come down $100,000, but the interest rate just made it the same for me to buy and to repay it. But the vendors, of course, still lost that $100,000 of what it may have been last year. I mean, this time last year, we were just getting the sense of things starting to not be quite as strong.
Yeah.
But leading into this time last year, it was like an express train on price. It just kept going up, didn't it?
We had been making up for the being locked down for 6 months.
That was it.
Have you ever seen in a 12-month period, because you've been doing this by the look of it a very long time, Gary.
Since Noah was a child,
so you came straight from the Ark and started in real estate, which is good.
Right.
As we say that, there's a horse and cart coming. Is there someone coming to pick you up, Gary?
That's exactly right.
Have you ever seen a greater shift in prices, both from a property management rental point of view and sales point of view, within a 12-month period?
Well, for those that have been watching, GPTV, our sister program, and this, I've made the comment a number of times that Melbourne was a very slow city. Slow to go up, slow to go down. The rents would climb up a little, they'd come off a little, but we've seen very erratic movements in the last few years. And even before the pandemic, we found that when prices went up, like in 2017, they went up really fast, really fast. And they came off a lot quicker than usual as well. So we have seen Melbourne, which has been recognised more and more in recent decade or so as being an international city. I made the comment, went to the city with my daughter, 4 or 5 years ago, and there were accents from all around the world. So we see still city as being, we see Melbourne still as a sort of a bit of a homely, small cottage feel city, but it's not that anymore. It is an international city. It's a
bustling city, Gary.
It's bustling. We kind of took for granted all of the events that we have and have had here, whether it's the Cup or whether it's the, the Grand Final, or whether it's more international, the tennis or the Grand Prix. I mean, this is an international, exciting place, but it has probably reacted more like a bit of an international place now, not a kind of state of Australia that was pretty conservative by nature. It's not that place anymore.
You're saying that Melbourne has had a coming of age, Gary. We've matured, maybe.
Look, we've always been a good city, but we've become a little bit more erratic in terms of the movement of property prices, and we're seeing that, and I think we'll probably keep seeing that. And I think when we get recoveries here, they'll come a lot quicker as well. I think recoveries were slow, and of course property prices went up every 7 years. Well, they are not going to be doing that anymore. They haven't done that for a while. Cycles have changed, and also when you underpin prices at 300 and they become 600, they become 1.2 and 2.4. They're not going to keep going to 4.8 and 9.6 million dollars, every 7 years. So we are seeing things change, but fundamentally, it's still a fantastic city. Hopefully, the actual business centre in the city will find its groove and recover, because I think that's been pretty badly hammered.
No, the city's bustling. I was there Friday night.
Is that right?
It was heaving with people. I went to see a show, which, for those that like Hamilton, I'm going to offend you now. I lasted, about 7 minutes before I thought, I can't do this.
What, Hamilton?
I lasted another 7 minutes thinking, okay, I'll get through this. Anyway, what's the interval?
That is sacrilegious.
I left about a minute out from interval, and I said to the guy, when's interval? He said at about a minute. I said, okay, well, enjoy the rest of the show. And I left, and I never came back.
To Hamilton?
Can't do it, Gary.
What's wrong
A, I
with you?
can't sit down for so long. B, I couldn't understand a word they were saying, speaking in. I don't want to give anything away. Everyone told me I need to read up before. What show do I need to go to that I need to read up on it first?
Obviously, look, Philip would have a term. He's got a term that he's used on me. I can't remember what it is, but basically it says you're an idiot or something.
Uncultured?
But uncultured. He's always accused me of that. But I've got to say that I saw Hamilton in San Francisco, and I thought it was one of the best things I'd ever seen in my life. So I'm not quite sure what's wrong with you, but anyway, that's just the start of that conversation.
It was also 8 o'clock at night, which, as you would know, is
it's not Rosen's
really
time.
close to my bedtime.
Not Rosen's time. Look, some people do want to tune in and hear about property, but I think that's a bit of a summary of the year gone by.
We've lost a few with your 20 minutes synopsis of Melbourne.
Well, I was more interested in the Hamilton story. Who cares about the...
I was trying to engage the audience with some real life stuff rather than Melbourne City has become, in the last 10 years, it's a snore town, Gary.
Well, the city itself, we got off track.
Gary, you've bored them enough.
The city itself, still lots of vacancies, still lots of businesses that are closed. That drug centre that they're talking about putting with the injecting rooms in the middle of the city, that can't be good for the city. So there's a few things that are going to happen. And then the Lord Mayor came out and said that the COVID was good. The pandemic was good for Melbourne. I don't know how that works. So there's been a few controversial things that have gone on.
Sally Cap, Gary?
Well, I never had anything against Sally Cap, but I didn't think that wasn't a great comment. I mean, anyone that says
it might have been a flippant throwaway line.
But people died in the pandemic.
Took it out of context, Gary. You took it out of context.
No, that was, I don't know what context it could be that the pandemic was good, but I understand maybe the context is fresh roots, new innovation, that's going to help us. Let's hope that's the case.
Let's talk about some sales, Gary.
Let's get back to property, Mr. Rosens, because we have seen things pretty strongly perform in our little neck of the woods, in our particular agency. Now, the clearance rates around Melbourne have been 60%, sitting there for a couple of weeks, maybe 2 or 3 weeks.
If you believe them at 60, Gary.
Well, that's right. Probably coming back a bit because a lot of them just happen to mysteriously not get reported or withdrawn the day before. But we have been legitimately in the 80% clearance rate range, 86% last weekend. The weekend just passed. Around 80% the week before, so 77 the week before. So, got to say, well done to our guys. Congratulations to our vendors who have had good success with us, comparatively speaking, and well done to the buyers who have bought beautiful new homes from us as well.
Indeed.
Speaking of results, let's talk about some of our results. One of the most magnificent homes come on the market was the home in Orong Road, 259 Orong Road, Mr. Jeremy Rose. There's a castle on the hill there in Orong Road on over 1,000 square metres of land. The price is undisclosed. I know that we were looking in that mid-threes, but anyway, it has been sold, so well done to the seller. Interesting story around the seller, and well done to the buyer alike, who has got a grand vision for that property. Jeremy, some of the other sales that have occurred, Kalimna Grove, number 23, well, that was pretty popular, wasn't it?
Single-fronted home, Gary, period style, and sold well, Gary. I think it actually sold prior to the auction of $1,420,000.
You were due to do the auction, but you got the hour off. So sure you knew how to use it. 3 at 100 Hotham Street, East St Kilda.
The resurgence of single-level homes, Gary, is big.
Yeah, that's strong.
And that price point of that kind of $1 million to 1.3 has been a sweet spot in the last few months, and this was well within that. I think we had a range that capped at 1,285 and sold very close to the top of that range, Gary.
Well done. 8 Wando Grove. That was a competitive auction, sold for $1,335,000, well above the range.
Did you just say $1,335,000? Did you just all of a sudden go to some Cockney accent there?
No, I didn't do that.
You must have do that.
Judge me on that. Yeah. You must have heard me in some sort of foreign dialect, but it was 1,335, and well done. We had lots of interest in that. I think we had some strong bidding competition. And then we've got even down to our little bite-sized sales. Well done to Mr. Daniel Peer, who sold a property in Lock Avenue for $258,000. That'll get you in. That's 1 at 20 Lock Avenue. That'll get you in.
And we've put that in, Gary, just to demonstrate the vast array of homes that we get the opportunity to sell.
5 at 47 Lansdowne Road, undisclosed but sold in that kind of
nice home,
between 1 and 1.2, bit of a clue there, and Brighton Road, Elwood.
Fabulous 2-bed, 1-bath, big courtyard garden in a modern block, sold there for $700, Gary, and $85,000.
That's a few of the sales in the St Kilda and Bayside area. Probably, in terms of buyer and seller challenges, well, certainly buyer challenges, is the volume's well down.
Volume's down, making it hard.
Making it hard. So if you're a buyer out there, yes, prices have come off, but not a lot of people want to come and meet you on price. A lot of sellers say, that's okay. Sellers are just saying, we'll just hold out, we'll wait, prices will get back up and you'll have to pay more later. But for those buyers that are ready to jump in, have got their finance, Mr. Rosens.
Lots of opportunity out there.
Good opportunity. Let's talk about some of the offerings we've got coming up. We are very active in St Kilda and Queens Road. We've got a couple of specialists within your office that sell there.
We do. Both Michael Jonas and Daniel Micmacher. In fact, all of our people have sold in the Melbourne postcode of 3004. But St Kilda Road, we have had a long and distinguished run there with many sales, but this one is a fabulous one. This is not for the first time that Daniel McMucker is selling this, 802 at 610 St Kilda Road, 540 to 580. Fabulous views of St Kilda Road, priced really handsomely there, under 600 we think.
Good
Going to
opportunity.
auction Saturday the 10th at 10:30 a.m. if not sold before.
We'll also be in Ravensgrove this Saturday morning. You've got you've had a few very big weekends of auctions this year. I've noticed you would have had some of your biggest ones, and I'm glad that you've got the stamina to see it through because we weren't sure. But it looks like you've been able to do it.
Gary.
What was been your busiest weekend and busiest day?
I couldn't tell you, Gary. I'd say
had some where you had like 5 auctions.
No, 7's been 6. Sorry, 6 has been the busiest.
You pulled up okay from that?
I'll tell you what's difficult. 6 on a 30. I mean, we had a hot weekend this weekend.
Yeah,
that is, and that was jolting and jarring. And then when you have to go out on Saturday night and then you have to see people on Sunday, it is a difficult task. But very easy to do once you've done it once.
I did 4 on Saturday in that heat, which was, pretty testing for a lesser fit older fellow than yourself, but got through it okay. Let's talk about, Ravensgrove.
Well, people are raving about this one, Gary.
Of course they would be.
See what I did there? I've taken the wings out of your sails there.
Right there.
That's your type of gear, Gary. 570 to 620. This is a beautiful Art Deco home that's been updated. 11:30 auction there. Straight after my 10:30, I go down to Ravens for the 11:30. I'm looking forward to it.
What a great address Holroyd Avenue is, and a terrific looking home too. Right at the start of the street there, just near Orang Road, near the Alma Village shopping strip, which has been home to our office and organisation
for many years, Gary.
For some 36 years. Yep.
This is beautiful real estate. Yep. This is as good as it gets. The most picture-perfect postcard facade in a class all of its own. 3 bedrooms. It's been updated. Bathrooms, kitchens. It's all been renovated. It is ready to go. We call a home like this a turnkey opportunity, meaning, Gary, you buy it on Sunday, 60 days' time, key goes in the door, hang your clothes in the wardrobe and you start living from day dot. It is a beauty.
Biggest headache there is, do I have the couch facing this way or that way?
You don't even need to worry about that, Gary, because there's a unit where your TV goes, so you have to put your couch in a certain area.
No worry at all. Well, you're the sales agent there and handing the auction reins over to Philip, but picking those auction reins back up in Westbury Street, a great address. I was talking about this street the other day, just saying that was a street when I grew up that was not a great street, and now it is a great street.
The best. You know why, Gary?
Why?
I'll tell you why, because it's got bookends.
Yep.
Dandenong Road at one end, giving you easy access in and out of the city. The other end has the cafe lifestyle that Melbourne is so famous for.
Yep.
In Balaclava Road / Carlisle Street. So many great cafes and restaurants at your doorstep, but you don't need those cafes and restaurants, Gary, because when you live at 48, you've got a beautiful, that sort of circular Art Deco home.
Love it.
Very reminiscent of its time.
Have we sold this before? It seems familiar somehow. It's a great looking property.
I think it looks familiar because it harks back to the 30s and 40s and 20s even.
I remember that
with the flappers and the wowzers, Gary. And this is a beauty. So, yes, that's the term that they use.
So the other day I drove past, there's an apartment that we haven't yet sold in the Ardock estate, which is a special property. Might put a shot of that up on screen too, because that is a huge and fantastic.
We talked about it in our last one.
Yeah, well, it's still available to buy, interestingly, and fortunately for whoever hasn't yet bought it. But when I drove out of that, I went down Westbury Street on the corner of Alma Road, and they've got that, which cafe? used to be called the Westbury Walkabout. I used to work there for $1 an hour, sweeping and mopping floors and shifting crates. That was, so you reckon real estate's a good job for me?
We can get you for $1 an hour anymore, Gary?
Probably not quite, but I did work there for some time as a young man. But that is a buzzing cafe. Have you ever eaten in that cafe?
I haven't, Gary.
On Sunday morning, it was packed. You couldn't get a free table. People waiting for tables. So well done to the old...
It's because the park up the road, it makes sense that it would be a thriving little cafe.
It's a good spot, but it was never a good cafe, but it is now. Let's move on to our Twilight auction, because we love Twilight auctions, don't
Gary.
we? We've got one at 100 Grosvenor Street in Balaclava, a superb block of 9 apartments. Tell us about it.
9 apartments, Gary. There's a mix of 1 and 2s, and I'm going to just steal your thunder here, because I know you want to say it, because it's a typical Gary joke. There are more than 100 reasons to buy this apartment block, Gary.
You've been working with me too long, I feel sorry for.
Our love affair with apartment block continues, Gary, and as we sit here as the last episode for Bayside TV for 2022, it would be crazy for us not to be talking about a block of apartments that's going up for auction.
We just keep selling them, don't we? We love them.
A ripper, this one, and a really nicely priced apartment block, Gary, because that sub $3 million market for apartment blocks, I'm imagining, is rife with investor activity. The 1st of December, Gary, is the auction date of that. I don't know how that's possible. It actually should be the 13th of December.
It shouldn't be, yes, it is.
So either I've read it wrong, upcoming inspections, right. I should have read that right. I don't think we need to cut that, Gary, because people need to see that we're human.
I think it's good to embarrass yourself openly.
I don't feel embarrassed at all, Gary. Sitting next to you, it's impossible to be embarrassed.
It's on the 30th of December. It is a trial at auction. I'll save you here. 6 p.m. Arlene, Joffrey, Daniel Peer have
Jacob
been handling
Kingston.
it. Jacob Kingston,
the
of course.
Kingston Peer connection.
Whoa,
it's like
strong,
the next breed are coming through.
It's frightening. Anyway, they have been working on that block. It's a great block, and we look forward to seeing you there in your hood of Balaclava / St Kilda East. Let's talk about Jervois Street, a great address again with cafes all around it, not far from the Alma Road Park there. Tell us about this property.
Not to be mistaken with Jervois Street, Jervis Street, Jarvis Street. It is Jervois Street, Gary. You have a very nice little accent on the OIS there. 24. This is a double-fronted brick home, similar to Holroyd in that it's got a beautiful facade. This one is ready for someone to either move in, redo and move in, or rent it out as it is. This is a great investment. Nice size block of land, 3 bed, 1 bath, 1 car, 145 to 1590. There should be strong interest in that coming up on the 17th, Gary.
Let's bring the curtain down also on the 17th, the last Saturday of auctions in this year, 2022. We are hanging in there and feeling good about seeing the year
excited,
out.
Gary.
This one is in, yeah, right. Well, we love Robe Street. It's a great spot. It is in the hub of all of those beautiful, very typical and very interesting St Kilda properties.
This is as interesting as they come, Gary. 51 Robe Street is a boutique block of only 4.
Yep.
Beautiful Art Deco style, period style.
Yep.
Huge apartment, this epic proportions. You've got 1, 2 and a 3rd bedroom upstairs over 2 levels, separate lounge dining. When you go downstairs at the back of this block, there is a parcel of land, Gary, that you wouldn't believe. When you walk in there, you think that you are somewhere else. You couldn't fathom that up the road is the beach.
Is that a common garden area?
It's a huge common garden area that only 3 others will join you with.
Lovely.
It's beautifully maintained. It's huge. I mean, it looks like, I'm predicting here. I reckon
parkland.
It's 1,000 square metres of land at your disposal with this apartment block. No, it's not a factual statement. Although it's it's a pretty good guess.
Right. Wow.
1,150 to 1,260. This will be great buying, Gary. A beautiful, beautiful period of style.
And that brings down the curtain of our offerings for this year. But we are still actively selling this year. We're still listing this year. There's some people that still say, look, if you've got a buyer, you can sell my home. So there's a few quiet off-market listings. If you're interested in knowing about those, speak to Jeremy. He'll put you on to the relevant person or help you personally. And of course, we are now signing up listings and already preparing for February, March for our offerings of the new year. Not too much happening in January. We'll sell in January. We'll have some offerings, starting off in January, but really the surge comes through mid to late Feb, and we've got some fine listings coming up.
Beautiful ones coming through.
Yeah.
Given that it is the last episode for 2022, I want to thank you for rolling up every month when we do this and looking as dishevelled as you look. You look less dishevelled this time around.
I think you've got the long hair dishevelled look now. But, I just want to reiterate that I like it. I think it's good, and thank you for joining me every month also.
But more important than you, Gary,
is there anything
the people that watch the show. Not just the people that watch the show, but the vendors, the buyers, the sellers, for everyone that's the PM department, the people that have homes rented with us.
Yes.
A big thank you to you for your support in 2022. We're looking forward to serving you again next year in 2023. So I just wanted to say thanks to all of you. And to the 4 people that are watching for keeping our ratings as high as you have.
Thank you very much. It's been a good year. We've had some interesting additions to our team this year. It's been great to have Matthew Morley.
There'll be more next year too, Gary.
There are. Stay tuned for that. But it's been great to have Matthew Morley join us with his experience and of course
Justin Reid, new to the company this year.
Absolutely. And Matthew, of course, great auctioneer as well. So it's been a very exciting year for the business. We continue to grow and keep things moving and keep improving. We're obsessed about that. But we want to wish all of our supporters, all of our watchers, all of our landlords, tenants, buyers and sellers a very happy and safe festive season and a wonderful 2023. We look forward to seeing you in February, bringing you all the real estate news. Until then, it's bye from me, Gary Peer.
And bye from me too. Hope you all have a fabulous break.